A very special greeting to you. am hoping that everything is well and that we are going to have a wonderful time today discussing the issue that I promised we were going to discuss. For those of you who are going to be joining me live, that is nice. It's always good to have a live audience, but it's always good to have an audience, no matter live or not. It could be one person in the audience, that's fine, because all you need is one person to broadcast the message. I normally tell my friends I'm not a social media influencer, I am an educator. So the people who seek to influence on social media try to get viral moments. I don't. I look for quality of content. So whenever I grace the airwaves on social media, it is to deliver a message that I would hope would last for a long time, not just for the moment. Which means that my agenda is not set by things which happen, but it is set by things that I contemplate on and decide to have a say. And I could not let the moment of the Olympic win for Thea LaFond and Dominica slip by and do not make a comment. So I wanted to use that golden moment for Dominica to speak about an overriding issue around what I think our society has degenerated into. And I will spend about half an hour, 45 minutes at most, to present this thesis and place it on record for public discussions, arguments, debates, etc., etc., etc. So welcome, guys. I hope it's going to be fun. At least if anybody joins me and you have a question to ask, go ahead, put the question in the chat, and I will have an exchange with you about the question. First thing I would want to say about my topic is to define the word blag, B-L-A-G, a Blag Society. I didn't say it was, I just made a statement. And blag is a Creole word taken from the Creole dictionary. This one, I think, was credited to Marcel Jamal Lafontaine. And it's a reference little book that I have because I teach Creole. I am a Creole student. And contrary to what some think about Dominica Creole, St. Lucia Creole, Guadeloupe Creole, Haiti Creole, I think Creole is Creole. All people speak different ideas, different accents of the same Creole, but Creole is a general term when it comes to the expressions of the Creoles. That is the same everywhere you go. So some read it, some write it differently. I have an issue with people as writing things as they want, because there's a little basic standard way of at least trying to write it. But somehow people just write what they want, how they feel they should write it, and it doesn't matter to them. Standards is not a big thing for some people. For me, it bothers me because standards is what's going to take us places. You have to establish standards. And in parts, my program is about that today, creating standards. Having a degree level of pride in the things that you do, creating content like my sister JL does, content that will last for a while. Not just content because it's a kicks and I just doing a thing. So JL, big respect to you, my dear friend and partner. I hope you're doing well. So Blag, B-L-A-G, a Blag Society is pretty much interpreted as a joke society. So blag means joke. To joke means to make light of. So joking is not bad. We should make light moment of things, especially serious things. That's how you make them more palatable. And I think there's a good reason why Dominica seems to be a Blag society where so much of what we do is turned into a big laugh, because that's the way the people can actually cope with the stress that they feel, by laughing about the things that are so obnoxious and out of place and silly and too serious to be silly. So I'm not blaming the people. I'm looking at the society for what it is, because if we were not laughing about the things that happen in our society might have gone up in smoke already. Because my God, how much more can people take? Almost quarter century of the same old incumbent regime, sucking the juices out of the progressive people, and one set of people just benefiting from this. This is unfair for almost a quarter century. So yes, people will laugh when they feel they want to free up. But I'm talking about that Blag Society to add some context. So a blage, B-L-A-D-J-E, accent acute, is someone who boasts, and to blage, with the accents going the other way, is to talk nonsense. And I'm using Creole here to make the case that nonsense is good when it makes sense. But nonsensical nonsense all the time as if there is nothing else to do does not make sense, especially when people rely on you for other things other than nonsensical things. And I'm going to go to the Thea LaFond in a little while to let you know how serious this is. But before I do, let me tell you about a gentleman called Bob Carter, who I met in broadcast school in Florida here, the Connecticut School of Broadcasting. And Bob was a dialectician, I think. He taught languages and the idea how you pronounce words. Before I was taught by Bob, I mean, people like Sherman Green Brown, my dear friend who has now gone to meet her maker. I spoke a little bit about her on DBS at the request and invitation of Ivona John Baptist, and I hope I will get the opportunity to speak on her behalf again. I also spoke with her dear loving husband who has survived her, but she was one of the coaches who helped to guide me in terms of proper pronunciation. So I remember her, and I'm going to miss her. But Bob Carter, I remember him too. Because when I spoke, he says, "You are very well spoken." And because I came as a broadcaster from DBS to be trained. And he says, you're very well spoken, with an accent, as we all do have, but you speak very well. But and he said to me that you're not a native English speaker. And I had a problem with Bob Carter for telling me I'm not a native English speaker. All my life I was told I'm a English speaker, native English speaker. I said, "How you mean I'm a native English speaker? I mean, we have another language called Creole, but that's not a real language. It's a language where we have fun, where we make jokes, where we..." He said, hold up. You are a native Creole speaker. English is what you have been, I'll tell you the word he used, not cultured. The word will come in a while. But he told me English was the language that I have been socialized around and to speak, but I'm a native Creole speaker because he hears it in me in my Renaissance. And he refuted the argument that I made to him in 1999 when I told him that Creole was a Blag language. Because, my Lord, all I knew, and even at that age, I was already ripe. 1999 is how long ago? 25 years ago. Right? 25 years ago. So I was already half my age. I was half the age I am now. Well, a little more. But I was already a man who understood life, and I didn't know Creole as an expression that could be used for progressive means. Because all I understood from Felix et al. Was to make joke of Creole, Ferdinand Frampton too, and Avan Royer, just name it. They use Creole in a way that lampoons society. And who am I not to believe that Creole was just the language for that? But Bob scolded me and he told me, no. If you have a language, that's your language. So you speak two languages, and Creole is your native language. English is the other language that you were socialized into. So I'm saying that about Creole, and I'm going to get to the point because it's important that we understand. that there is something that I believe called constructive Creolism. And Gordon Henderson might like that. What is constructive Creolism? To use whatever remnant is remaining of the language of our forefathers to express ourselves in different ways, in Blag, serious, constructive, otherwise. Because had Thea LaFond said something in Creole there in Paris when she was speaking to the press, people would say, nice, beautiful. Oh, you speak a different language. She would say, yes, it's Creole. So people respect Creole. Everywhere I pass in Florida, I see English, Creole, Spanish. So we have a language. Some may not accept it because they don't like the syntax and the way the agreement of certain things. And I understand that it's not as well developed, but it's a language. I call myself a bilingual citizen. I speak two. I speak English and French. Sorry, Creole. And I understand French. So I say 2.5 languages. That makes you more marketable. And that's the case. So I'm saying all of this because there is not the sense of panache around the Creole as there should be. And I go back to 1999 to Bob Carter to speak about my disillusionment about what Creole was supposed to be. And that takes us now to the essence of our Dominicanness, which I believe is lost in our failed leadership. Not just political leadership across the board. Because our social leaders are failed us, our union leaders are failed us, our club leaders, group leaders, sports leaders, church leaders, some of them, not all, and the majority of our political leaders. So Dominica now and Dominicans suffer from a sort of leadership drought that robs us from our true essence of the Dominicanness. We are good people. We want to do well, but we are just stuck in a space and time where Dominicans will do what they think they have to do, because at the end of the day, some people say that Dominica is not a real country. And we make big fun about it. I don't joke about that. Dominica is indeed a real country. And woe be on those who made those statements about my country. They are the ones who seem to be enjoying the best of Dominica. But they're the ones who speak the most foolishness about our country. So I think the essence of our Dominicanness is lost in the failed leadership of our country. And this idea of the Siwo culture is used as a buffer against the suffering and pain of the people. I am not against Siwo. I understand Siwo. People who understand cultures and society understand why there is festivity and lots of drinking and spending on substances, even in recessions. That's where people get their solace. So Siwo is Dominica's way of coping. And there are people, political leaders, people who want to be Dominica leaders, saying that Siwo thing must go. How is it going to go? When Dominicans stop Siwoing, when they stop making Blag, what are they going to do? You will have to run, So let our people Siwo as much as they want to. Dominicans know when and how. And if Dominicans tell you, I'm not Siwoing today because whatever, they will not do it. But you must want them not to Siwo the way they have been Siwoing, if and when you get serious. I'm coming to the tier factor in a little while. So I'm just developing the case. And I'm defending our people. Because our people are trying to survive. They're not thriving. So they're not going to be perfect with what they do. But I'm not going to judge our people. Our people are doing well to survive. With the Siwo, the little Blag, the little memes, the little free up. That's what keeps our people going. Our people are under severe stress. And it reminds me of a student of mine who sent me an email today. Tells me, thank you for a good semester, good stuff. And then he tells me, and keep on fighting for your country and your people the way you do. I never understood my student is watching me and my little statements. Because I cannot be a professional, safe in my little discipline, and just put a blind eye to the pain of my people and my country. No, I don't want to be prime minister, but I want my country to be a country which is better led and which is progressive. Pays nous pas qu'à changer. The country is just there in stagnation by some people who believe that God willed the country to them. And I know they have supporters who may not like what I am saying, but they understand in the same way. And people do not stay with you all the time. Support is not eternal. Support can change, but people must cause support to change towards them. Le why ka mépriser ces moun-là, di biten kot yo ki affect the support base of the people. They are going to want to come against you. They're not going to come and support you. You have to find a way to get the people on your side. And Dominicans will change the government whenever they're ready to change it. But Dominicans must see the people worthy enough to change that from that to that. And I've said so repeatedly, without a challenge. And some of us are too comfortable in our space. We believe that it must be us or nobody else. Some of us, nous javier. Move on. Let younger people take over. Give them the energy to change our country, because you cannot do it. Even if you are given a chance right now, the vendetta that is all into you and the missed opportunities that you have to make up for is going to be too much to handle. New set of vibes, new energy. Dominica will be okay. Give our young people a chance. Get out of the way. So I'm saying that the CO culture is a buffer against the suffering and pain. And the legislative old talk, gimmickry, mockery, and excuse for political representation that I see taking place in the parliament of our country is not just a shame or a sham. It should not be given the attention that it gets. I see people repeating lines and making things go viral. No, when those foolishness are being done in parliament, leave it there. Just stay quiet. And let the people who do the things that they do, that they think they're doing so well, let them realize how silly they are. I used to listen to parliament when I was younger, and I would listen to people like Elkin Henry. Elford Henry, I also was in parliament. Michael Douglas was also in parliament. Charles Minard, Allen Cabon, Alvin Aman Trading, Mary Eugenia Charles. I never heard Patrick John, but Patrick became my friend. But I can go down the list. Johnson Boston. Oh, this fella from Newtown called Ozzy Walsh. Swanston, Cabon. These guys were brutal politicians, but they spoke with pride. And they embraced and celebrated expressions. But I am hearing some people in parliaments today. I don't want to repeat the words that they're saying. I mean, comedy is being done a disservice when it's being used to describe what they're doing. Because I am a comedian. I have used comedy in my life as a presenter of events. That's not us. What they're doing in parliament now, saying that they're representing us, is a mockery. It's a gimmick, it's an excuse for political representation. And they should be called out for it. Don't call it comedy. Comedy is too much of a wonderful expression and art to be framed together with what is being done in parliament. And I speak to people in parliament, incidentally on the parties, on the majority party side, and who agree with me. We have conversations about it that some people just don't think. I guess some people are told what to say, they don't say. But no, I mean, it's a joke. So we have lost the essence of who we are because there's no panache, very little pride in how we do things. And we come to my point about Thea LaFond, and then I have one more point, and then I'm done after that. I never keep my lives for long, but I have to build a case to express the point. So if everything that I have said, Dominica is beautiful, our people are great, our leadership is one thing, and that is the problem. The problem is not the people. The problem is the leaders of the people. And I want to say what Dominica need, but who am I? Somebody greater than me will say it probably later on. I am like John the Baptist coming before the message is delivered. So Dominica, through Thea LaFond, won our first gold medal in the Olympics game in France. Thea LaFond is an athlete who specializes in triple jump. Triple jump is an athletic event where the athlete runs down a runway, jumps once, twice, 3 times, and into a sand pit. We had athletes in Dominica who represented Dominica at the Olympics. Jerome Rubin, I remember him very clearly from Portsmouth. And they had organized a little sand pit for him by the Windsor Park, facing CSA Center on that side, close to the old stands. I can see it now. Jerome Rubin was practicing every day. He's my friend. Practicing on grass, running and jumping in the sand to go to the Olympics. How long ago was that, Jerome Rubin? I can't remember. It was some time ago. Let's say 30 years ago, 25 years ago. Maybe more than that. A half a century, quarter century after, we don't even have a grass pit for Thea to jump from. But Thea won gold for us. This is the awesome magnitude of this young lady. And now you hear all kind of talk about stadium in her name and all kind of memes with she jumping over the moon. These do not make sense at this juncture. What we need to do is to get serious about having a conversation within 24 hours of her winning, so BBC, CNN, NBC can pick it up. Right now, we have lost the window to have made a serious statement. I remember after Tier 1, NBC had a report about Dominica and St. Lucia and the magnitude of our win, and in a normal circumstance, that might have been the story. But they went to a Ukraine story because somebody from Ukraine won, and you know the war in Ukraine and Russia. This is how difficult and competitive stories are. So you have a moment after we win, and all I'm seeing is memes and political pun and who saying Tia should and can she vote no in Dominica, and I mean all sorts of magie, when we should have had a panel of serious people led by a sports minister. Who is the minister for sports in Dominica? Madam Cornett. Who is the minister responsible for sports? And don't tell me I should know. I really honestly don't know. Well, maybe I do. But the point I'm making is these ministries are so insignificant because only one ministry that really matters now is the ministry of, well, the office of the Prime Minister. Guys, we have to get serious. Tia won. And yes, we were happy. People drinking rum, people having fun. The CWO. Where is the constructive engagement with the world? How better placed is Dominica today to benefit from what Tia did for us? I listened to a program on BBC last night, and I heard the voice of the Minister for Sports in St. Lucia speaking about the money spent to help Tia and, sorry, not Tia, the golden girl from St. Lucia, who won again, gold again for St. Lucia. I'll get to that in a different time. But the government seems to have a full-fledged plan which they could not have made up overnight. St. Lucia. The government had viewing parties around the country. And today, as we speak, the day after the event, the government had a big billboard welcoming people to St. Lucia at the airport of the winner for gold in St. Lucia. I heard our winner speak, and she was asked a question about, tell us about Dominica. And the reporter really wanted to know. Oh my God, and Tia was amazing, beautiful. She answered the question. She talked about the 71,000 and not 71 million. Or whatever, it is 71,000. And Grenada, St. Lucia, all of them in 170, 150,000, you know. I heard a reporter from Barbados referring to Dominica as a small country. and talking about Kavem Hodge and Athanase, or Athanase, being from a small country, and Barbados smaller than Dominica, you know. I hope they know that. But the population of those countries is so much more. They have maintained their population. Why can't we maintain our population? Why haven't we? Why are we the only country that's going down in population size? When Thea LaFond proudly said we have 71,000 Dominicans, I scratched my head because the last I checked, we have 74,000 voters. So we have more voters than Dominicans. And if Thea had said that in France, they're trouble with. I'm happy Thea didn't say that, you know. But that's what we have to reflect on. No, we're not going to get into the politics, into the partisanship, as a former minister did, a member, a former principal of schools, asking whether Thea can vote. Trying to make the point, well, oh, some people are against people from overseas voting, but look, we're celebrating Thea. What foolish and irresponsible statement from somebody who I almost worshipped at one point in time. Now is not the time for the partisanship. Now is the time to get the right message so that BBC can take it. But right now, 2 days, 3 days after the fact, that's a still story. We missed the window. I went on DNO, I look at some stories written, nothing, no content, nothing, no serious analysis of what has happened for the past 25 years in Dominica sports. I mean, nothing much to say in terms of infrastructure, but something about our clubs and something, so the world can quote something serious about Dominica. What can they quote? What? No. You could tell me I should do it, but I am not tired and I do all kind of things. I spent a whole class session, 2 free sessions, talking about Dominica and the music and the everything else to the students, over 200 students. I did my best, I did my best. Somebody else should do what had to have been done. Did the sports minister engage with the foreign international press? Did the sports minister call a press conference? Probably they did that. And have a plan, a blueprint. I don't know. So the point I am making is, instead of doing memes of what Thea had accomplished, where was the serious, responsible statement? My brother, what's his name again? Gavin Richards, a good reporter, traveled the world. Probably Gavin did something. Maybe he did his best. But Gavin need help. Maybe look at Sebastian and those guys should come together and do a nice, constructive conversation. I know Sibo must have done that. Today's what? Wednesday? Today's Tuesday? He might do it on Thursday. But we are missing the boat. We cannot do it when we want. We had to impanel a group of people to speak about our country. If Jyoti was around, may he rest well. Probably Jyoti might have done something. Guys, we have to get serious. The blag on everything and the memes and the looking for cheap political points is not the way, man. If we're going to have a nation that's going to be productive and successful, we have to move away from the trivialities of the things. No need. We have to get serious about certain things. Not everything, but some things are too serious to be taken seriously. But that Thea LaFond thing, I think we have missed the boat. And I hope it's not going to be 25 or 30 years again. And I'm hoping that Thea's dream is not going to die in the plans and the wishes of the parties and groups. I see a leader of a party claiming, and then I just don't understand how the politicians. I myself, you know what? I was about to say what I think Dominica need, but who am I to say that? Somebody else who will come after me will say it. But I'm just tired of the same old rhetoric, man. Why can't a politician just do something one day genuinely without trying to score points? What is so hard to congratulate Thea as a woman, as an achiever, as a Dominican, as an athlete, as a golden girl, and not to try to gain points? You will gain more points when you do not try to gain points. Remember, I made excuse for the blags and the jokes that we give, because that's what we can do to keep sane. So I'm not going against what the little memes and people freeing up, because I laugh about a lot of things that I see. But there are times when BBC do not want to laugh. If BBC wanted comedy, they'll go to Def Comedy Jams, or they'll go to one of the stand-up rooms, halls in the United States. I mean, they do comedy well. Comedy is brilliant, beautiful. But they don't want stand-up comedy when somebody win a gold. Look at the kind of analysis that they did on that 100-meter finals that some say Jamaica should have been awarded the gold medal. Serious, in-depth analysis of the art of ending. Instead of just getting to the line, you lean towards the line, and that is where the edge, that's where Giles got the edge over Thompson. And the analysis goes on for hours. Where is the in-depth analysis of the work that Thea did, will continue to do? Where is the plan for the little Theas? All I'm hearing is about a big motorcade and who showing they drinking rum and guineas. And guys, man, I don't know, man. I mean, we can do that too, you know. But in addition to that, what else? I was just told that Jerome Roman is from Cottage, not from Portsmouth. Okay, Cottage is not Portsmouth, but same area. So he's from Cottage. Claim Jerome Roman from Cottage. And claim Thea from Maho. All right. And that was 1996. He was, no, I think, wasn't Jerome Romain at the Olympics as well? Jerome Romain performed at the Olympics. I did not have all that information. I didn't have to come to prove any stats. I am just remembering Jerome Romain practicing in the 1990s in the Windsor Park, in a little sand pit that maybe he himself did, or probably Geoff Fostin and them from the sports division dig a little hole, put some sand in it, you know, put a little track, not synthetic, you know. And he was running, pop, 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 and he jumping in that sand. And when he jumped, I used to go and rake the sand for him, couple of us, and he jumped in again. I think the Alvin Esprit was around to Jabon. So we have to get serious. And I think another moment has passed us. Where other nations who have won gold, I mean, we don't understand how serious that thing is. A gold in the Olympics, at the Olympics, is the ultimate. And for us, it is just 24 hours after it's finished. I listened to BBC last night speaking about St. Lucia still. I didn't hear BBC talk about Dominica, nor did they quote any minister from Dominica. So the journey ahead, ladies and gentlemen, it must be marked by meaningful and reasoned dialogue. I am a comedian. That's what I do best. Entertainment. Of course, I have a professional engagement as well. And a career. But I will not dismiss the fact that I do comedy well. I write plays, I sing songs, I write comedic scripts. Comedy is okay. It's brilliant if you ask me. It takes a very savvy person to be a comedian. But it cannot always be just comedy. You have to have meaningful, reasonable, very well analyzed dialogue at times when it is merited. We have to find a way to walk the path along with our brothers and sisters together. We need to battle for our country. Dominica is too beautiful a bit of real estate for us to allow people to take away from us. We have to battle together. Because Dominica will remain okay, but the leadership of Dominica is causing problems for the majority of Dominicans. At this stage of our history, countries that are smaller than us, like St. Lucia, have double our population. But you know, that's a shame. Zopa hot. We are bigger than St. Lucia and Grenada. We are the third largest English-speaking Caribbean country with the smallest population. Even Antigua almost have more people than us, and we may be 4 times bigger than Antigua. Wake up! Where is the... I mean, really? And we have less than 71,000 people here. I mean, we have much less than that because a lot of things happen since that. And I mean, I don't want to bring Dominica down, but the population is not 70,000. We are a country, we are a people in crisis, living in paradise. I'm not crying the country down. I'm saying that the leadership of the people have failed the people. And it's not the people's fault why the leadership is still intact, quarter century after. It is the fault of those who have been trying for the past same long time to do it and is not showing and are not showing any serious plan to lift Dominica not just beyond where it is now, but into a different stratosphere. Mainly because of the narratives that they use. People saying, but if you go in there, you're just going to fix yourself. So we need to fight, not physically, stand up, work together, so that we don't lose our country to, I don't want to call them the names that people call them in the Al Jazeera, the documentary, because I love these people in government, you know. I have no issues if the Honorable Prime Minister, I would have lunch and dinner with him any day, you know. I mean, he's a cool dude, but enough is enough. And I think he might be willing to transition if he thinks things was happening better. He has not seen it yet, but when he see it, I think he'll feel happy about retiring. I can't tell him when to retire, but alas, I mean, I need that I could free up to. He has a family to spend time with. The power takes a toll on you, you know. So I made the point that I wanted to make. I had a very strong rationale, and I came to the climax by using Thea as she's like the Bob Marley of our country. But more than Bob Marley, Bob Marley had music, but she has gold. Boy, last Papa Bonji. If I was the government, let me write a song. I'm going to write a song. I would I can write a song for Carlos. I know Carlos cannot sing to save his life, but there have been worse vocalists than him that have won Calypso Crown. So I'm going to sing a song for Carlos. I'm going to write a song for him. I'm going to end my conversation here, guys. I promise you about 40 minutes. I'm not too sure how much time I've put in. I've put in about 35, 38 minutes. I think that's good enough. I'm not too sure whether there's any question, but before I take your questions, if there's any, I wanted to push my book a little. My debut junior unedited, my first published complete text that tells the story of this lady, Dame Eugenia, from Dominica, the first woman prime minister. Probably I'll write a book about Thea LaFond sometime in the future. But it's too early. Let her enjoy her moment. And it's too early to talk about doing a stadium in her name. Forget that, guys. Let us put a structure in place, and Thea will get what has to come for her later on. But all that thing about naming stadium after her and all of that, not now. Let's let her enjoy the moment. We'll do it. She will get what is coming for her. But for now, let us put the structures in place. So I could have a book about her one day if I'm around still to write, or somebody else might write. Maybe my daughter, my son, somebody might write. But it's good to document. And I have a book documented on Dame Eugenia, one of the most outstanding politicians in the world. You may not have liked her, but she was a conservative like Reagan and Thatcher. She was in the same ilk from a small country. And that's an interview that she gave me. It's written there in her words with some analysis. Go to Amazon, look for Dame Eugenia Unedited, Alex Bruno, and buy this book, please. While you're at it, you could buy 10 to share, to gift to friends. And you could maybe make it a required book for research for schools who are doing Caribbean politics. So yeah, here you go. Get this book. It's a worthy read, and I endorse it. It's my book, so I'm going to have to endorse it. But it has been doing well on the market, and I invite you to get a copy of this book. All right, guys, I'm finished. I do not know whether there's any comment for me. If there is, I think the producer will bring them on the screen. If there isn't any, I will wrap up after my first quencher. Deb, a progressive youth. She says, yes, those previous parliamentarians were brilliant. Class and elegant delivery. No. Deb, oh yes. We have lost. I mean, not lost. We have deviated very far from the kind of excellence that Dominica had in every sphere. And a lot has to do with the leadership, not just political leadership, but leadership across the board. Clyde Gregor said, it's shameful. And Clyde, I know you're speaking about the behavior of our parliamentarians. And not just in this sitting, in other sittings, I mean, I just don't want to say the things they're saying. Because I cannot believe people take their good head representing people like us and go and talk such foolishness in parliament and expecting that to be something that the people are going to make us happy. And if you think I'm angry, of course I am angry. That we can do better. Clyde, come back again. Clyde Gregor says, pure Lego beast in that parliament. Lego beast is a term. This is derogatory. Old local parlance, old talk, which describe people in the most demeaning way. I think it is alluded to women in particular. And for fear of reprisal, I won't give the full definition. But people who live within the Dominican context know what a Lego beast is. And that's what Clyde just said. I don't want to claim it as having said it, but that is the contributor, and they wish to contribute that. It is, however, shameful to even have the suggestion that people who serve and represent us in parliament are so characterized. And Deb Prince, who I need to have a conversation with, Deb, says, Jesus. And it was spelled Jezaas. Tanya Green Reed. No, sorry, Tanya. I take back the last word, the last name, and I'll never say it again. Okay, Tanya? Tanya Green, my loving sister and friend. She said, valid point, Alex. I'm not sure which point she thinks is valid, but anything Tanya tell me is valid, I agree. Tanya, you're a big supporter. You're a friend. You are a zealous protector of my image and my interest. You're an ethical, beautiful sister. And I love you for what you have done for me and what you'll continue to do for me. Thank you for being on the live. And whatever you say was valid, I agree with you. Carlos Charles found himself under my live. And Carlos says, Thea LaFond gave a wonderful response to the media. Oh, yes, because the media really wanted to know a little bit about Dominica. And she was really on point, And she didn't expect that question. But that question was going to come because Moonpa called it Dominic. And she says, not the Dominican Republic. And she said, where we are, by Guadeloupe and Martinique. And the French would know because they are French countries, close to St. Lucia and Barbados and Trinidad in the south. Thea, you were excellent. And giving Thea honorary whatever is just nothing. Don't even talk about making an ambassador now. She can get all of that. Right now, let Thea enjoy her life with her wonderful husband, coach. Enjoy the moment. Stay healthy and fit to go win gold again if she can. And if she doesn't win it, it doesn't matter. We have it once already, Thea. You've done your work. Zed Lloyd, my dear brother, said, I see the population issue somewhat different. I think it's an advantage that we have not planned around. But Zed, you're going to have a bigger reasoning on that, my brother. You're going to have a bigger reasoning with me on that, because small populations, man, in this system is not productive. You cannot do much with. How can a whole nation have 70,000 people? Less than that. And how it is that we are the only ones going down. How is that good for us now, Zed? Probably you have a little reasoning. So share that with your brother. You know me. All the respect I have for you and stuff like that. So let me see where you're coming from. But it cannot be that our population in Dominica at this time is 71,000 and we have 74,000 voters. Don't quote me on the number of voters. Ask Carlos. He's the politician. Carlos has a voter list. Carlos, you there? Tell me how many voters we have on the list. And while you're at it, tell me where you're going to run next election. And why you didn't go and campaign? You put your name up in Marigot and you never even show up in Marigot. Why didn't you go at this campaign, have one meeting? Anyway, let me leave Carlos alone. Peter Thomas say, shame on Sonia is the rum that do her that. I do not know who Sonia Peter is referring to, but Peter made a statement on my live, and I'm just reading it out. So I cannot add too much more to that, Peter, because I do not know which Sonia you're talking about and what is so shameful about him or her. And yes, rum, which is liquor, is something that is consumed in societies all around. But in smaller, more tight-knit cultures, I think we do it as a way, a part of the tradition of our country is drinking. And you are suggesting that person must have probably is overly exposed to liquor, and that's the reason why they probably are speaking gibberish. That's what I am deducing from your statement. Clyde also says, I used to do long jump in the same sandpit. Oh, you see, Clyde, I tell you the truth. The sandpit was close to SAT, where SAT have their building right up behind SAT there, in front of the stand. That stand, I'm not sure it had a name, it was a wooden stand. And he would run down in the little alley between the playing field and the stand. Or was it on this playing field? Somewhere there. I think, was there a gate? A little like a metal fence? And he would jump in that sandpit. So Clyde, you see, I'm talking the truth. Norrin Joseph said, the sandpit had been there long. I used to jump in it and jump over hurdles. Oh, where's Samogapali Kontlano? I tell you, all the sandpit was there. Delvin Esprit and myself used to go and rake the sand when Jerome jumped. Because every time you jump, you have to rake it so you have a clean pit so you can measure. I'm feeling good about the confirmation about the sandpit. Today we don't have a grass pit. Carlos Charles says, song for Carlos. LOL. You forgot Margaret Wallace is my aunt. Musical family here. Okay, I hope you can sing the song. If I was the government, I get you to tell me I was joking. Margaret says, Carlos K. Charles, your grandmother handed down singing jeans. Tell him, bring it on. I'm going to give Carlos a calypso. Do not tell me you cannot sing it. The title is If I Was the Government. Social commentary. All the things you would do. Okay, my partner? And don't tell me give it to trendsetter, All right. Margaret Wallace, disrespectful talk in Parliament. I feel sad and infuriated about it. Well, Margaret, my dear daughter, my dear sister, precious daughter for our soil, and colleague, yeah, we have to feel sad for not the people speaking the foolishness, our people, our children, the grandchildren, the public. People are listening to us as we speak right now. People want to know about Dominica. But when they see the memes and the things, they have to understand the culture before they understand it. So we need some people who, I mean, who is the Minister for Sports again, Carlos? Did that person make a serious constructive statement about the vision, the blueprint for them? Maybe some partisan kind of a list conversation. Again, I'm not dissing any politician. I'm just talking about my country, man. And the last I checked them, they were in parliament talking foolishness. And I don't use the lines they were using because it's not beneath me. It's just appalling. I won't use those lines. I'm tempted to. About what going west, best with what drink and all kind of foolishness. Oh my word, man. Dominicans are waiting, for the opportunity, And when Dominicans get it, you will see how far Dominicans are going to pitch them away from the governance of our country. I'm not fearful about my people, Dominicans are going to fix this. But a group of Dominicans must agree, and I put in my hand up. Put me there, let me fix it. But again, I'm not talking the politics tonight. I'm just talking about our country and what Thea did and the missed opportunities that we had. And I'm really enjoying the reaction, the interaction. It allows us to expound on the issues. So thank you guys for being on. Thanks for offering your comments. Nobody ever asked a direct question, so I didn't have to answer any question. But the interaction is fine. I hope you appreciate the effort that I made to try to break down this topic and to tease us a bit. And not just, those of us who do memes, but to ask for more depth, greater, more substance in our deliberations, because now we are a gold medal country. Per capita, we are the number one in the world in terms of gold medal, the smallest population, and we have gold. Man, you know what kind of value this is, man. You know what I can do for our country, man. So I want to see some serious. I want to read a very challenging article. Dr. Fontaine, probably that's what you need to be doing now. Write a big article for us. You're into sports, you're into those things. I think you could do well. So maybe dedicate some time to write an article, a big one. So let me spend some time, maybe 3 days reading it over and over. I need to be challenged, man. Sibo, do a program and do some stats. You can make up with Ozzy in the same breath and bring him back on and only do a big program on Q. Well, that won't happen. No, I don't think you'll make up with Ozzy now. But you're Nubi. My brother Lofty too, he does his thing too. Lofty can handle his vibes too, So guys, do something, man, so we can export it. Because when I'm in the classroom, I honestly teach Dominica. I teach about music. I teach about Gordon. I teach about Jeff Joe. I teach about Trilogy. I teach about dice and the music, the use of the music. I teach about Shelley and the song for Carnival, and I show the videos. And the students are entertained. I talk about Calypso, and I kind of debunk the myth that Calypso began in Trinidad and soca. I say, yes, Trinidad has done a lot, and I give credit, but I explain what Calypso is, and my students enjoy this thing. So I make moments to teach. That's what I do. So the politicians, find your bearings too and give us some depth. Top Palace Sort, Powell Anytil. Give us some constructive, and I want to talk about a politician who I think is making a big effort, but people might say I'm biased because they might affiliate me with him. But it's a nice, very brilliant young man who I think is trying. I'm tempted to call his name, but people might say I'm biased. Carlos, should I call his name Carlos? Anyway, guys, I think we're finished. I'm not going to go to the hour mark. I'm going to stay under the hour. Thank you again for being here. I'm not sure when I'm going to come on again, but I'm sure I will appear live again to continue the conversation. What I do here is an ongoing series of programs called Politics and Power, and this was my presentation of Politics and Power, a very responsible platform where I look at issues. Today, I focused a lot on what Dominica is about, but the people who are my affiliates, who are my colleagues in other worlds and in my discipline of politics, where I hold a professorship, understand the fights that I am in right now to save what is our country and our sovereignty, our nation, and they support me as well. So I'm not just going to focus on my discipline. I can do that, and I can also try and save Dominica from sinking any deeper into the abyss. And that population of 71,000, which is less than our voting population, that is significant, guys. That's not a joke. We have 71,000 people, they say. That's what Thea said, so we go by Thea, and that is true, although it might be less. But the voters list has over 72,000 people. I rounded up to 40, 74. How could you have more people who can vote than people who are alive, people who are counted as citizens? And don't tell me the list cannot change. You have to change it. You must change it when people move on, when people move out and so on. The laws say to pick them out. So don't say you're not taking them out, I mean, you disenfranchise them. That foolish argument doesn't make sense. You may win it, but it makes no sense. So that, Z, is my problem with the population. You cannot have more people voting than people who are citizens. Papa Bonjour. People are laughing at us in the outside world. Carlos, you check the list for me now. Show me the numbers now. This is a serious problem. And unless we have a total cleansing of the electoral list, the re-registration of people who live in Dominica. Now, other people who don't live can be on the list too, but they must go home and do it. You have to have a cleansed list, a re-registration to show 30,000 people on the voter list. That might be the numbers of people voting. There's nothing else we'll do. You can go to Parliament next month, this month, and put a new law. When the people elect a different kind of government, it will be changed. You need to start from scratch, and that's not disenfranchising anyone. If somebody lives overseas, as I do, and you want to vote, go and put your name back on it. That's simple. That's the fairest thing to do. Right now, we have 72,000 plus on the voter list, and we have a population of 71,000. So I'm happy Tia brought it up, It gave me a little opportunity to expound on it a little again. Anyway, that's my program for today, guys. I'll see you around. Take care.